welcome to another episode of Chasing Giants TV. As promised, this is part 2 of a redneck feeder, and we're over at my buddy Todd Covey's house. He has the same feeder, and you've been running these feeders for what, 2 years now?
3 seasons.
3 seasons, and he's had a bigger problem with raccoons than I have. And this isn't Todd's idea. You actually saw this on YouTube of another channel, but I think you said it didn't have very many views on it.
No, it was like a one-off video, very generic. I mean, it was old.
Yeah. So basically we're in a situation, Todd, give us a perspective. When you first put these feeders out, how much feed were you going through with the raccoons at first?
So these are 750-pound feeders, and I was getting 2 to 2.5 weeks out of 750 pounds.
Right.
Everything on the video was a dozen coons at a time, coming right up the legs and just tearing it up.
And then after you made this modification with just some simple PVC pipe and some U-bolts, what did you start seeing it go to?
Getting more than double the time out of it.
So over a month. So guys, when we're talking about feeding high protein feed, even corn, even if we were feeding corn, it'd still be a lot of money. But when we're feeding high protein feed ration like we are with the Expect Healthy Deer technology like Todd's doing, this farm, for those that don't know, was actually a Higgins Outdoors planned farm. Don was actually here to did the plan. And we're in Kentucky, so supplemental feeding is legal after August 1st. But we're going to zoom in a little bit and talk about how we mounted these big PVC pipes. Now, Todd, is this 6-inch PVC?
6-inch capped. We've got stainless steel U-bolts around the leg of the feeder, and then this is essentially just hanging on it.
Yeah, so it's not rigid. We want them up off the ground a little bit so that coon, when he gets on there, he can't bite it, but it actually flops around a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So we the whole premise here. So for those who have mentioned this, the feed head is actually up as far as it can go, right, Todd?
Correct. It's
So
the highest setting.
For those of you who have a redneck feeder, it has 3 or 4 positions where we can raise that feeder up to get it up off the ground. But even all the way up, we mark the inside with a marker, saw it off so we don't have feed setting at the top of the tube. But even in that high, it still wasn't preventing the coons from coming up. Now, Todd has another one of these feeders on the back side of his farm, and he said he has seen a couple instances where the coons are getting on top of each other and getting up to the feed head and then raking it out. We're going to try to maybe make a sheet metal modification around so they're not sitting on top of that 4-way head. But even so, the amount of feed that you save just by putting this on the leg has been exponential, right?
Oh yeah, and I think what's happening on the other side is it's got a little bit of a hump under the feeder and the sod is thicker. So I think because of the way they've eaten this ground down, it's tall enough here they can't do that. So
maybe
it might
even
solve itself on the other side.
We could try taking a shovel and digging a little bit. I don't want to really create a hole because I don't want to encourage mud and muck underneath of our feeder where we're trying to feed at. But that would be another way, is to lower the ground. The deer are going to be back out here eating out of it. So Todd, at any point in time, we're in the middle of how big of a soybean field right now?
We've probably got 3 acres of soybeans here.
So
acre of clover on the end.
You can see Todd is suffering from the same thing that I had, and that is we were so dry after germination. We hit rain perfectly at germination, but then as soon as they germinated and sprouted up, it went dry and we couldn't keep up with browse early. So we have gotten rain. Todd was texting me, it was all doom and gloom, it's going to be a total loss. But in the last week and a half, they've really come on. So we're going to see what happens on this field in the next couple weeks and to see if he's actually going to have a bean crop. But you planted these with your corn planter, right?
I did. These were planted on May 24th. They were up in 6 days, but then we had 5 weeks without a measurable rain.
So yeah, I'm probably a little bit ahead of Todd. I think I did plant maybe a week or 2 just ahead of you. But he planted with his corn planter, so you can see his 30-inch rows there. And where he's really gotten browse pressure is this bedding area that comes down and feeds. And you can see along the edge, they're a whole lot thinner than out over the center. So we'll see what, I think you're going to have beans, Todd. I think the next couple of weeks we still got chances of rain. Those beans are probably, 10 inches tall out in the center, maybe 8.
Yeah, they get better as you go deeper.
I think the biggest thing that we're going to have to do is probably just stay on top of our weed control, because by now normally the canopy's already formed and we don't have to worry about weeds. So if we keep the weeds under control, we'll see what kind of beans we have. If we don't have a good bean crop, we just overseed right back into it with cereal grains and a fall blend. So pretty cool setup here. You can see the miscanthus at the end. We're going to take a look at that before we leave. In his shooting house right in front of the barn, he can pull in that drive, pull right beside the miscanthus. But I want to give everybody an idea. 6-inch PVC, cap the top, and use a hole saw at the top. And what Todd did is just a simple put a U-bolt, a stainless steel U-bolt, right around that angle iron, and that holds it up. Don't fasten it at the bottom. And that's what? Is that a 4-foot section of pipe?
I think they were 3 feet.
3 feet. So you got out of a 12-foot. What length did they sell this?
10-foot pieces. So
10-foot pieces. So, and it wouldn't hurt to even go higher, but you haven't seen anything be able to get any traction on this.
I think it's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes any difference.
But you don't recommend getting it all the way to the ground. You want that floppy at the bottom, right?
I think so. And I certainly wouldn't do any less than diameter than that, because
then they could get around it and bear hug it.
The goal is to have them not be able to hug it.
All right. Well, a way to coon-proof your redneck feeder, I would assume that this strategy would probably work for about any kind of feeder.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, 6-inch PVC, some caps. So you're probably looking at what kind of investment on your pipe?
Probably $200. I think it was like $110 a feeder.
So
caps aren't cheap. Stainless steel's not cheap.
Caps, U-bolts, but you're going to make that up in one fill-up of your feeder. So the ROI on it's really quick. Yeah. So guess where I'm doing tomorrow?
What do you got?
Going to the hardware store and buying some 6-inch PVC, because on August 1st, when I get back from Destin from deep sea fishing, I got to get this feeder out, and Todd will be out here filling both of his feeders. Boy, check out that clover, Todd.
Yeah, that's
one of the best
real world stuff, and it's beautiful.
One of the best clover fields I ever had, or I ever saw. Unbelievable bottom down here on the creek. So either this farm has been featured or will be featured on Whitetail Master Academy, as Steve Shields was actually down here videoing Don's plan. We're gonna go home, eat some fresh picked sweet corn that I just picked there at the farms. We got some good green beans. Casey's home canning right now. And then we're gonna go help my daughter move this evening. Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate your support of the podcast and this new channel. It means a lot. It really does. Take care.